Hi, my name is Felix, and this is my theory how the mutants are going to be phased into the MCU. Now, since Disney bought the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, we the fan base have been very excited to finally get to see them in the MCU. However, how are they going to phase them in since the events of Endgame? Alright, so people are suggesting that maybe the mutants have been here this whole time. Another theory they're suggesting is that maybe they'll get brought in through the multiverse. And because of the new movie Eternals, it's going to give us a base or a structure how the mutant race will be initiated, which I don't think those theories are right. I have my own theory. My theory is that they will be created or initiated through the snaps. And by the snaps, I mean the Infinity Gauntlet and the Power Gauntlet. If you don't know which one's which, the Infinity Gauntlet's the one that Thanos had, and the Power Gauntlet's the one that Hulk and Iron Man used. Okay, so I'll be more specific on my theory and give you a better detail, so bear with me. We're going to start off with the Eternals. Okay, the Eternals. They were created by the Celestials. The Celestials are these cosmic gods, and they also created the mutants and also created humans. Now, I don't know if you remember, but they actually made some appearances, or they talked about them, some references in the MCU. Like, for example, the first one was Guardians of the Galaxy. When the Collector, he showed a glimpse of one of the Celestials. His name is Ezon the Searcher, and he had the Power Stone, the purple one. The second time was the planet Nowhere. It's a skull from a Celestial. And then the third one was the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, when Peter Quill's, Star-Lord's dad, Eagle, tells him that he was a Celestial, meaning that he's a god, but technically in the comic books, he wasn't really a god.
What are you exactly?
I'm what's called a Celestial, sweetheart.
A celestial like a god?
And then another one was actually Thor and Avengers. If you actually look at Thor's costume or his armor, it looks identical like a Celestial's. And also, if you look at Thor Ragnarok, the guards behind the Grand Master, they have armor or a facial guard exactly like a Celestial. So how does this whole relate to mutants? I'm getting there, so give me a second. So the Celestials, they came to planet Earth and found like a species that evolved into a Homo erectus race, which is kind of like known to us men like ape creatures pretty much. So this was before like the Stone Age. The Celestials wanted to create life and observe like the growth or the evolution. So they made 3 types of race. Obviously they couldn't decide on one. They made the first one, the Eternals. Now the Eternals are like a superior race who are like typically empowered with the cosmic energy, just like Odin, for example. So their main purpose was to like observe the planet, report any evolution to the Celestials. Now the second race that they created was the Deviants, which is kind of like an unstable race, but also with the typically empowered and cosmic energy type of thing, kind of like Thanos. So then the third race they created was the mainline race, which is us. So we have normal attributes until we evolve. So pretty much we could vary on abilities, and it takes a while until we develop into it, until something helps us out, which is time. Alright, so the mainline race, us. We have an extra chromosome called the X gene. This gene slowly helped us evolve from a man-ape creature into an upright, intelligent human being. So as you can see, with time, we have evolved. We become intelligent, we created technology, we're evolving, however, slowly. I believe that in the MCU, every human has the X gene, but technically nothing has made the process faster, or to enhance our abilities faster. But there has been some individuals that have been exposed somehow that increased their X gene, and now we call them superheroes. Like, for example, follow me here, okay? First one, Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner's a human, he's a mainline race like us. However, because he has the X gene, he was exposed to gamma radiation, which should have killed him but didn't. He became the Hulk. Second one, Captain America. Yeah, it was a man-made super soldier serum. However, it enhanced his X gene, making him into a super soldier. The third one, Black Panther. He got his powers by drinking the purple flower. This flower, it grows in Wakanda, and is fertilized by a Celestial's corpse. This is, okay, follow me, it's the comic book. So a Celestial was killed by the Deviants a long time ago. They buried the body in underground, obviously, and it was actually considered what we know now, Africa, which is Wakanda. Another one can be Captain Marvel. She's a human being. She had nothing special about her until she was exposed to that blast from this space stone. she became Captain Marvel. Okay, so now we have a better understanding of the X gene, how it could be introduced through the movie Eternals, and how each human in MCU have the X gene. So now we have the base, and now we're going to work on the structure. Now, the people that think that mutants have been here this whole time does not make any sense, because it should have helped us during the fights. Another thing would be that Disney didn't have the right to say the word mutant. So it doesn't make sense for all of a sudden for them to say, hey, we had mutants here this whole time. Doesn't make sense, throw it out the window. The other thing, when they were saying that maybe they'll come through the multiverse, it does make a little sense, but it's not a good one. It's a bad idea because it raises too many questions. For example, they brought Gamora back from a different multiverse. They brought her here. So now we have her. Yay. I mean, good. We have her now, but they didn't realize that now they pretty much deprived Star-Lord from ever getting to meet her or fall in love with her from the other multiverse. Like another example, Captain America. He goes to the multiverse where there's another Captain America, and he ends up screwing himself over. He goes and hooks up with Agent Carter. Technically, he's going to get unfrozen, and there's going to be 2 Captain Americas now, right? And then when he gets old, he comes back to our multiverse. He brings the shield. Obviously, it's not his because it got destroyed in the Endgame, and he never took it to the Quantum Realm. So he stole that shield from the other old Captain America. I mean, it just raises too many questions. If they're going to start bringing people back from the multiverse, bring back Black Widow or Quicksilver. Bring those back. Too many questions. It's not a good idea. My theory is that they were created by the snap. Okay? So let me break it down and show you how this could be true. So we're going to start off with the scepter during the events of the Avengers in 2012. The leader of the Chitauri, gave Loki the scepter and told him to invade New York to get the Tesseract. Now, if you don't know who the other is, he's pretty much serves Thanos, and he's the leader of the Chitauri. Chitauri are the ones that came out in the Endgame, Infinity War, those dark-like creatures. So the scepter is secretly a vessel that holds the Infinity Stone, the Mind Stone. I believe Thanos did not know about this because why else would he give it to Loki? It doesn't make sense. So then the Tesseract, also a vessel, also known as the Cube, it has the Space Stone, the same Space Stone that pretty much gave Captain Marvel the powers. So during this event, Loki uses a Tesseract, opens a wormhole, lets all the Chitauri in to attack New York. Avengers defeat him. Thor takes the Tesseract and Loki back to Asgard. The Avengers hand over the scepter to S.H.I.E.L.D., which ends up being undercover agents from Hydra. Okay, so now we're going to go to Age of Ultron from Avengers. So the scepter was used by Hydra and gave extraordinary powers to these 2 humans, twins, brother and sister, by the name of Wanda and Pareto Maximoff, which is Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. The Avengers defeated Hydra. They took the scepter back. Tony Stark tried to create something with the scepter. He ended up making Ultron. Ultron turned on the Avengers. Ultron used vibranium to create his own body because he wanted to put his body in him. And he destroyed the scepter to show the Mind Stone. Now the Avengers went back. They pretty much defeated Ultron and took the body and the Mind Stone, which Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, and Thor created Vision. Now during the event, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, they flipped on Ultron, okay? And Scarlet Witch showed like she had amazing powers like kinetic energy, telekinesis, comic energy powers, because obviously she got it from the Mind Stone, the scepter. She held her own against all the Ultron robots. But when Quicksilver died, I don't know if you noticed in this scene, she pretty much she has a cosmic blast. It evaporates all the other Ultron clones like around her, like massive. Okay, so now we're gonna fast forward to Avengers Infinity War. Okay, so Vision was in danger because of the Mind Stone. So he told Scarlet Witch to destroy it because she was the only one capable of being able to destroy it. Now let me remind you that Thanos was able to destroy all 6 stones using the stones, however, and nearly killed him. Just remember that, okay? So Thanos comes in, flips all the Avengers, throws them side to side, and then Scarlet Witch, with one hand, ends up slowing him down while using the other hand to destroy the Mind Stone. Now that's power. She does destroy it, but Thanos uses the whole Time Stone, reverse time, ends up stealing the Mind Stone, destroys Vision, and now he has the full gauntlet. Okay, so now we go to the snap. So this is the beginning of how mutants are going to be initiated into the MCU, I believe. So Thanos snaps his fingers and creates a kinetic cosmic radioactive blast, pretty much that bleeps everybody like half of the universe gone. This means that those that survived the snap were exposed to this blast, okay? Same blast that created Captain Marvel, same stone that created Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So those that were closer to the snap actually were more exposed than others. So boom, first exposure. Second snap, Avengers Endgame. So Thanos did the snap again. So pretty much those people that were exposed around that planet, they were pretty much exposed. Their X gene got exposed to it. Okay, so the third snap. Now this snap, obviously, the Avengers planned to use the power gauntlet to do the snap thing. They didn't say this, but I believe they understood about this whole blast or gasma or cosmic power thing that came out from the snap. So if you see in this scene, Professor Hulk stated it was a gamma radiation and he was the only one capable of doing it. So you see Captain America just standing there because technically he was exposed with it by the serum, but then again, you know, he's badass. America. Ant-Man covers his head. War Machine covers his head. Thor covers pretty much Rocket Raccoon and he's got himself. Iron Man covers himself and Hawkeye. And now the Avengers headquarters is securing with panels all over. I mean, but even though the snap was shielded by metal walls, it's a cosmic blast. So anybody around that radius was technically still exposed. Okay, the last snap. Iron Man used the power gauntlet and once again, boom, Earth was exposed to a huge power blast with no filter whatsoever. So technically, everybody was exposed. So this completes the growth of the X gene with half of the population exposed to it multiple times. Okay, so this is how mutants should be introduced because half of the population was exposed by the snaps. So this should start kind of showing powers for them. And because all 6 Infinity Stones were used during the snap, that means that each person would have got powers from each Infinity Stone or all of them all together. So obviously the government's going to start noticing this and they're going to start calling this a mutation. And to identify those that are getting mutated, they're going to call them mutants. Boom, mutants have been introduced into MCU. You all. Hey everyone, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure to hit on like, leave some comments. Let me know your theory about how the mutants can be introduced into the MCU. I'd love to hear from you guys. Once again, thank you for watching. And like always, stay young, guys.